Hello. In the last couple of weeks, we've looked at fractions and decimals. And in this lesson, I'm going to show you the relationship between fractions and decimals. And we're going to be looking specifically at halves, quarters, and 3/4. So we've got a fraction wall here. And across, I've got one whole one. So you can see the total is here. So if I press this, what fraction do you think will show here? Let's see. 1/2. Now, if I change this fraction wall into a decimal wall, watch what happens to here and to here. You can see that that half is now 0.5. Let's go back again. 1/2. 0.5. Let's just write that. So 1/2 is equivalent to 0.5. That might not make any sense at the minute, but very soon I'm going to explain why these two are equivalent. Let's go back to fraction. If I click on this one here, what fraction will show? Let's see. 1/4. Now I'm going to go to a decimal. What decimal number do you think it might show? Let's see. 0.25. So let's just write that down. Differentiate. Let's say 1/4 is the same as 0.25. And again, I'll explain why that is a little bit later on. We're going to go back to our fraction wall now. I'm going to colour in 3/4. Now, if I turn to a decimal, what decimal number do you think might come here? Let's see. Change to a decimal wall. 0.75. Let's just have a look at that. 3/4 equals 0.75. And if we just fill everything up, we can see that the total is 1 at the end. So 0.5 and 0.5 is 1 whole. 0.25 times 4 is 1 whole. And again, 0.25 times 4 is 1 whole. Now, today we're going to be looking at halves, quarters, and 3/4. Now, you're quite lucky because I've already told you what the answer is. But I want you to know why certain things are in maths. So let's go to our 100 square. Say I've got 100 square. And first of all, I'm going to split it into quarters. In fact, you can see it's already split into quarters, isn't it? But just to make it a little bit more clearer, I'll split it in half. And I'll split it in half again. Because when you halve something 2 times, it makes quarters. Now, I'm going to fill in one of these quarters. Let's choose my 5. 5, 10, 15. Oh, let's delete these. That was a mistake. There we go. So, you know that I have filled in 1/4. I filled in 1 part out of 4 equal parts altogether. But you'll also notice that when I was counting, I counted up in 5s. And I counted 25. But why did I fill in 25? Well, let's have a look. My square is out of 100. Now, how did I get from 4 to 100? I multiplied it by 25, because 25 times 4 is 100. So what do I need to do to my top to make it equivalent? Whatever I do to the bottom, I must do to the top. So 1 times 25 is 25. And let's just check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So if we know that 1 quarter is the same as 25 hundredths, well, 25 hundredths as a decimal is 0.25. Let's look at a half. Let's colour in, let's do this quarter. So you can see that I've coloured in exactly 1/2 of my board. So I'm going to write that. Oops. 1/2. And that is equal to how many hundredths? Some of you will be able to work it out straight away. Some of you I know are screaming 50 at the TV or the computer screen. So let's see if you're correct. Well, how did I get from 2 to 100? I multiplied by 50. So whatever I do to the bottom, I must do to the top. 1 times 50 is 50. And we know that 50 hundredths is the same as 5 tenths, which is the same as 0.5. Now, you could write 0.5, or you could write 0.50. It makes no difference whatsoever. So we've done a quarter, we've done a half. Now let's look at 3/4. Let's do the bottom one. Let's colour in this quarter. So now you can see I've coloured in 3/4. 1, 2, 3 out of 1, 2, 3, 4 altogether. So change my colour. So we've got 3/4 here. So before I turn it into a decimal, I want to turn it into hundredths first. So let's have the denominator as 100. How did I get from 4 to 100? And multiplied by 25. So to get from 3 to my new numerator, I need to do the same. Whatever I do to the bottom, I must do to the top. So 3 times 25 is 75. So 3/4 is equivalent to 75 hundredths, which is equivalent to 0.75. 7 tenths and 5 hundredths, or 75 hundredths altogether. So that is the relationship between decimals and fractions. They are the same, they look different, but they mean the exact same thing. So here I've just gone back to my fraction wall, or my decimal wall, and you can see that I've got a half equals 0.5. But the step that I missed out is that I didn't change it to out of 100 first. And that's what you should do. If you do that, that tells us that you really do understand the relationship between fractions and decimals. I took a shortcut there. You can see that a quarter is 0.25, and you can see that 3/4 is 0.75. Now, if that makes sense and you understand that, then I think you're going to have a really confident and really good maths lesson this morning or this afternoon. For challenge 1, you're going to have to colour in or shade a quarter on this 100 square. Tell us how many hundredths are shaded, and then complete the equivalent fraction, and then write a quarter as a decimal. For challenge 2, you need to complete these equivalent fractions and decimals. Think about, excuse me, think about what I showed you when I did this. This will come in handy for challenge 2. Oops, and then for challenge 3, it gets a little bit more difficult. Now, for challenge 3, it's a little bit like challenge 2. But the difference is you are going to have a look at the fraction, and you're going to have to think, right, what is the relationship between the numerator and the denominator? So if I look at this one, A, what is the relationship between 2 and 4? For B, what is the relationship between 5 and 20? Maybe you can count up in 5 until you get to 20. Because it's not as easy as just quarters, halves, and 3/4 when you get to challenge 3. So, good luck for today. And as always, take a very clear picture of your learning and upload it to Seesaw and await for your teacher's feedback. Good luck.